Many workers from your grandparents' generation retired with something most private sector employees today will never be offered: a promise. Work long enough, and the company calculated your benefit, managed the investments, and sent you a check, often every month for the rest of your life. Your retirement income did not rise and fall with every movement of the stock market. Today, most workers receive something very different: an account. You contribute the money, you select the investments, you watch the market. And if the balance is not enough when you retire, the consequences belong to you. This is not simply the story of a new retirement account. It is the story of how retirement risk changed hands. Welcome to Outlaw Wisdom. This is Hidden Rules That Control Your Money, where we expose how the system works, who benefits from the rules, and what those rules mean for you. The old system was called a defined benefit pension. The key word was benefit because the retirement payment was determined by a formula, usually based on your salary, your age, and how many years you worked. The employer funded the plan, managed the investments, and carried most of the risk. If the investments underperformed, the employer still had to fund the promised benefits. And if retirees lived longer than expected, the employer had to keep paying them. That protection was not perfect. Workers had to remain employed long enough to become vested. Companies could freeze future benefits. And if an underfunded plan failed, federal pension insurance might replace only part of what had been promised. But the defining principle remained. The employer promised a retirement result. At the system's peak in the mid-1980s, roughly 4 out of every 10 American workers were covered by these defined benefit plans. And then an obscure section of the tax code helped change everything. In 1978, Congress passed the Revenue Act, and buried inside it was a provision named 401k. It established tax rules for arrangements in which employees could choose between receiving compensation immediately or deferring it into a qualified plan. Congress did not sit down and design a replacement for America's pensions. There was no national announcement declaring that workers would now finance and manage their own retirement. The provision simply created rules for cash or deferred compensation arrangements that already existed in different forms. Then, a benefits consultant named Benna recognized what those rules could become. He helped pioneer a plan that combined employee salary deferrals with an employer contribution. Workers could place part of their paycheck into an individual account before paying current income tax on it, and employers could encourage participation by matching part of that contribution. By 1981, new tax guidance helped clear the way for wider adoption, and employers began noticing something important. A traditional pension created an open-ended obligation, but the new plan created a predictable contribution. That single difference transformed corporate retirement planning. With a pension, the employer promises the outcome. With the new plan, the employer contributes to an account, but does not promise what that account will eventually provide. That is the hidden rule. Defined benefit promises the result. Defined contribution only defines the input, and under the new plan, the worker now carries the investment risk. If the market falls just before retirement, your account absorbs the loss. If your investments underperform, your future income may be smaller. And if you live longer than your savings, the employer does not have to continue sending a check. The company still has legal and administrative responsibilities, and it may also provide a valuable match. But it no longer has to guarantee that your account will produce a specific income for life. Now, this shift was not caused by one law or one secret meeting. Employers wanted more predictable costs because traditional pensions expose them to changing investment returns, longer retiree lifespans, and large funding obligations. And a more mobile workforce made portable individual accounts attractive to employees who no longer expected to spend 30 years with one company. But the financial consequence was unmistakable. Most of the uncertainty moved from the corporation to the worker. By early 2025, about 70% of private industry workers had access to a defined contribution plan. Only 14% had access to a traditional, defined benefit pension. And then came the test. In 2008, the stock market fell 37%. In a single year, the value of stocks held inside these retirement accounts fell by roughly $2 trillion. Workers approaching retirement faced a brutal problem. They did not necessarily have another 20 years to wait for the market to recover. Some postponed retirement, some reduced their plans, and others returned to work. People already receiving traditional pension checks were generally protected from an immediate drop in their monthly benefit. Pension funds also suffered investment losses, and struggling companies faced greater funding pressure. But those retirees did not open a personal account and watch their promised monthly pension fall by 30% overnight. Same crash. Two systems, two completely different places for the risk to land. So, is this new kind of account a scam? No, it is a legitimate and potentially powerful wealth-building tool. Your own contributions belong to you. Those contributions receive real tax advantages. Employer matching can add significant value, and the account is usually more portable than a traditional pension when you change jobs. For disciplined workers who contribute consistently, control their costs, diversify, and stay invested, it can produce substantial retirement wealth. But it is not a pension. It does not guarantee how much money you will have. It does not guarantee how much income that money will produce. And it does not guarantee that the market will cooperate when you are finally ready to retire. That is what disappeared when the pension faded. Not retirement saving, the guarantee. So when a system offers you more freedom and control, ask one additional question. What responsibility and what risk came attached to it? Your grandparents' generation was often protected by a promise. Your generation was handed a portfolio. That was not merely a new retirement product. It was one of the largest transfers of financial risk in modern American life. If you believe workers deserve a guaranteed retirement option, comment the word pension below. If you would rather control your own investments, comment the word freedom. Next time, we investigate who invented the credit score and how 3 digits became powerful enough to influence where you live, what you drive, and how much borrowing costs you. Subscribe to Outlaw Wisdom for the financial rules they left out of the classroom. They never taught you this. We ride until they do.